So the pattern became that I would lose my job as a result of my drug use. And then eventually I'd wind up losing wherever I was living. And then right behind that, I would lose whatever kind of relationship I was in or contact with my family, friends. That was the pattern. And that was the pattern that I lived for about 10 years. I was born in New York City, and I was raised in Manhattan, as a matter of fact, on the Upper West Side. The ground was fertile for my addiction to really take off. I had an ego. I thought that I was somehow invincible. Made a lot of money, and I knew that drinking was beginning to impair my performance, and I stumbled onto crack, and it was the wonder drug. I could drink all night and show up at work the next day. I don't think I realized that I was an addict until I was about 40. I kept thinking that I could use, and I kept thinking that I could use successfully, and it wasn't working.
First of all, I didn't know that he was homeless at the time. I thought he was a college professor because of the way he dressed.
The most important thing about our very first conversation was that she said to me, "We have to figure out a way to help you get past your stuck point." I could never get past 6 months, 9 months, 11 months. I could never get a year. I'd heard the word "we" in the rooms for years. Never understood it as clearly as I did in that moment. After you've been through some of these programs a few times, you've got concept. I knew what I was supposed to be doing, and I couldn't seem to do it. How many times do I have to make the same mistake over and over and over again?
Renewal Farm is a truly unique recovery program where men get out of New York City and live in a therapeutic community where they deal with their substance abuse issues and get to work on a farm.
You know, I remember my first night in Project Renewal. I was so happy. Everything was right. I was out of the city.
Everything that they see happening with these plants here in this greenhouse, we can give them that as a metaphor for what's going on with them internally. There's a seed being planted, there is some expectation of growth, and miraculously, somehow, out of a brown little patch of dirt, here comes this green thing popping up out of the ground.
He would call me every Sunday and tell me that they were taking their goods to market, like we were in a fairy tale.
It was a good way to transition back into real life. I was able to talk to people who had real lives. The minute that the HR director said to me, "Tell me a little bit about yourself," I knew how the rest of the interview was going to go. I was ready. I was prepared. So without a doubt, Project Renewal helped me, get ready for that interview.
Renewal Farm is incredibly successful, and proof is in the numbers. It is twice as successful as similar programs around the country.
He's one of the reasons why we keep doing this, because that's possible.
I definitely call myself Allie's grandfather, and I call Jenny my stepdaughter.
Never having had kids of his own, I think that it's really overwhelming, the feelings that he has for her.
I think I know exactly where I would be without Project Renewal. I think I would have made the mistake of going back to the city, and I would have tried to do things my way again. And without a doubt, I would have used drugs again, and I'd be back at square one.
Now I know that it was good to stick it out. Now we get the benefits of who he really is.
When you go through an experience where so many positive things happen, there's no room for picking up a drug anymore.
Wanna go out the door, Allie?
It's the last thing on my mind. I have so many positive things in my life.
It doesn't get any better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not the same person.